Welcome back, everyone, to Pub Draw.
Hey!
This is a draw-along show where I, Marisha Ray, the student, learn how to draw with our amazing teacher, Babs Tarr.
It's me.
And the goal by the end of the season is to teach me all of the basics of drawing and for all of us to be able to draw a unique D&D character of your choosing by the end of this. And we actually have some fun surprises coming up
that's
to
true.
maybe
Stick
help
tuned
aid
next episode.
with that.
Yes.
But first, a word from our sponsors as soon as we, get there. Sorry, wait for the prompt to catch up. The lesson for today is lighting and shading.
Yeah, we're gonna go over, I know everyone's like, watercolor, and I'm like, well, we gotta learn some form and shape first.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into that maybe next season. But we're gonna get into shading today.
Lighting and shading.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. Now a word from our sponsor. In time.
Is an ad playing right now? Is that what's going on?
I think the app is playing wonky. This episode and every episode is brought to you by Wacom. Wacom have been making pen technology for artists for years. They're amazing. They make all these tablets that we work on, like the Cintiqs, and then they also do great things with the Intuos Pros. And they really kind of have everything for beginner artists if you're just starting out, or if you are a pro like Babs. So you can check them out on criticalrole.com/Wacom and on Amazon as well. And then they also just came out with this really cool new product.
Yeah.
That it's this slim Pro pen. So it's for the Cintiqs. It works with all the new tablets, but it's slimmer.
This is the old one. Oh, you've got the, so like this is the new one.
Yeah.
And that's the old one.
Yeah.
So they're it's a little.
They'll follow you.
Okay, it's a little bit slimmer, and apparently it's got like tons more pressure points and stuff. So you can hold it to the side and kind of brush to the side and stuff. I don't have to play with it too much in depth, but if maybe Max will let me take one home and I can fuss with it.
Yeah, totally. I think we have a few extras. Yeah, because you were saying it's like a really sensitive.
Yeah, and it feels great to hold. It feels like a pencil because it's thinner.
Yeah, because those are thick.
Yeah.
Those guys are beefy.
So yeah, I'm interested to play with it. It seems really cool.
But yeah, it's their Pro Pen 2, which is pretty awesome. Slim. It's pretty great. It can be used on the newest generations of Cintiqs, Intuos Pros products, etc. You know the jam. You can learn a lot more and check out Wacom's pen tablets and displays at criticalrole.com/Wacom or on Amazon. And thank you, Wacom, for supporting us.
Thank you, Wacom.
We love it. Last week, we told you how to submit your drawing for a chance to win an Intuos Pro. And our winner this week is Catchin05. Let's take a look.
This one was really impressive.
Oh, it's so good.
First off, such an ambitious pose. And they got into some color ink. They did some cross-hatching that I didn't really teach, but it looks like they went ahead and looked up some things and taught themselves some stuff. And even in
those like movement blurs.
So cool, right?
Yeah.
So also I love the movement they incorporated in it. And then I think it's really cool that she went above and beyond kind of what we were been doing in the episode. So I think it's really great. It's so cool.
It even feels like Bo's vest is made out of like a slightly sheer linen.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And like there's so much detail in that.
She had wrote in her email, I'm sorry, I keep gender, but I'm not sure. So they had wrote that they had messed up, and then they just like incorporated it into the drawing, made it work.
And she made it work.
They like smeared it, and then she's like, and then they're like, whatever, I just like made it work for the thing. And like that is the goal, right? You gotta,
so good.
If you mess up, just
make it
roll
work
with
for
it
you.
and like see if you can make it like work with your drawing or cover it up later. So I do that like 100% of the time. It's about being an artist and being like, that's not really the line I wanted, but what can we do to just like make that work?
Yeah. Or like when prompters glitch out on you, you just gotta make it work.
A little rough start to it.
Stay tuned because later in the episode we will be doing a giveaway in chat of a Wacom Intuos and telling you how to submit your drawings for a chance to win your very own Cintiq 16.
Yes.
But now we draw.
Yes, today we're gonna go over lighting and shading. We did a little photo shoot earlier with
creepy Groghead.
with the Ford
Ford head.
Ford head, which is
he's lovely.
here.
It's a very cool.
Very cool Ford head that stares into your soul.
So we did a little lighting photo shoot with him. And I wanted to go over this before we got into color because it's really essential that you guys kind of, we go over some type of like shading and shadow and how that acts differently depending on where your light source is. So we kind of did a little.
The light source is up front.
Yes,
Right
and you
in front.
might know because you've done some camera stuff.
Yeah, it's production stuff.
It's production stuff.
So we would call that Ford's key light.
His key light. Yeah, I
Just
was
right
learning
in front
about
of
this.
him. Yeah.
In the art,
Right,
we
Steve?
just call it the light
Kind of?
source. Yeah.
Sure.
Steve was like
Yeah.
giving me a whole lesson today.
Or your
Yeah, the
like,
key light's kind of the main lighting the face.
right.
Yeah. So we'll go through and you maybe guess where the light's coming from.
Okay.
So what direction is it coming from?
Okay. He is underlit.
Underlit. So this is great for creepiness.
Yeah.
It like little lighting also like helps with changes the mood and the vibe of
ominous.
kind of. Maybe like he's like
he's a
looking
bad
at
guy.
that
Or like-
orb going into his chest or something like. That
Totally.
adds all kinds of crazy stuff. And then even there's a second light source. Can you tell where that one is?
Oh, there's one kind of hitting like his head a little bit.
Yeah. There's
Like
another
a
one right
little
here,
rim.
and it's hitting this and making like this situation happen.
Get that little halo lighting.
And I wanted to see the difference, like when those are kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
So like everything
It
that
looks like
kind of is
completely
coming
different
out
art.
is brighter. So like the nose, the cheeks, the forehead,
Yeah.
the chin, and for us ladies that like to highlight, that's like exactly the spots you
Right
want to hit.
here, yeah.
and then this, and then this. So
of this.
boom, that's where you want to put it because that's where the light hits, and that's gonna make that highlight pop. So we're getting a little bit into makeup too, but yeah. So opposite, right? So now all of that stuff, because the light source is the exact opposite. It was here and now it's here. It's under light. Everything that was in bright is in dark now.
Yeah.
So like you want to think about that when you're when you're doing deciding where the light's going to hit on your character. That one is a little bit further back, so it's a little bit more ominous.
Kind of here-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of behind.
What was the fancy name for the Rembrandt lighting? Rembrandt lighting.
Oh, yeah, where you sculpt from either side. More or
Looks
less.
like you're
Have a small triangle of light wrapping
this
dark.
triangle
here.
right here.
So it's from one side.
To the other.
This is probably the most default. Like the sun is like
In one
in the
spot.
corner of the sky and you're kind of off to the side. So like right here always looks good. And then you've got that second light source coming from over here for
Right,
this
a
like
little bit of
cool
fill.
highlight and stuff. Another version of that underlit one.
Sure, just not as extreme. You have it kind of
Yeah.
pulled up a little bit more.
And then Steve was showing me how to make that underlit light work without it being so harsh and scary. So like that's kind of a different vibe. And then keep what is the middle to make the dark light? What was that called?
Fill light.
Fill light.
Filling in the shadow.
yeah.
Yeah, so like even though the forehead and the nose and the cheeks and stuff is still in shadow, you can kind of make it out more.
Right.
It was very fascinating. I was learning about production studio
Lighting,
stuff.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, let's do this demo to show our lighting. So like, again, here's another two light sources, and that's very backlit.
Yes.
So like you've got the one coming here, and then this one
And then you
coming
said,
here.
like, I say your other one.
And so you're hitting, and these are acting very differently, right? Like this is kind of coming across his face, but this is like further
Sculpting.
back, so it's like getting cut off. It's not quite wrapping around toward the front and hitting the nose and stuff. So like the further you want to think about dimensions, like the further it comes out and such, how it acts. So yeah. Oh, and this is the diffused light or something. Yeah, he's
That's
like,
very,
Babs is trying her best
it's very
over here.
nice balanced lighting. That's like the type of lighting we do on between the sheets and stuff.
Yeah, this is your Instagram, ideal Instagram
a
lighting,
little
probably.
diffused.
And then a little bit more harsher. So yeah, I thought it'd be cool. I could draw all this, but I think it's always neat to see something in real life, and then I'll try to translate that now in drawing. Like I've got a little forward drawing.
Going.
Oh, he's missing some.
And I've been working on a jester that I will be attempting at some point in time.
So I thought maybe I would underlight him, or we could do a couple different lighting situations and play around with him a little bit.
Ooh, yeah.
So yeah. So when I'm thinking about his shading, that Rembrandt lighting where you want that little triangle is kind of like art default, right? Like, at least for me, that's kind of like where you go.
The Rembrandt lighting?
A bit more. Yeah, it's kind of like the default, most natural looking, looks the best on everybody.
This was the dark side on the camera side. You want the light side, the one that's furthest away.
Furthest away from
Yeah.
the camera.
Yeah, so
See, like, if
we
you're looking at his face.
we want that to be the light, and this will be dark over here. Opposite?
Because then it's like.
No, that would be.
You do you.
Okay, I'm gonna not do that. Wouldn't you want the most light to be near the camera?
Not for film, but maybe for drawing.
Yeah. All right.
Not
so
for film, maybe
what-
for drawing.
I kind of, if I'm not quite sure where the shadow's gonna be, I usually will pick the light source. So I'm gonna make it coming from here and a little bit forward. So what's a total given, especially on dudes, is the sunken eyes with the big brow. Oh yeah, good idea. Okay, so sorry, Max was just sending me a little signal there. I always do the
There's
brow
no
like
production
this.
illusions on this show. As we shout things off camera to our producers.
They love it. So that's always a safe bet, is doing some of that shadow there, because there's always kind of a shadow under those eyebrows. And then the nose always kind of has a little shadow under it. So that's kind of always looks pretty good. And then kind of a bottom lip situation. And then with his little tusks that get like shaved down, there'd probably be a little bit of shadow under there.
Oh, nice.
And then definitely the neck,
That's
right?
great.
So like,
Yeah.
that's kind of pretty default. And then you could get like more dramatic with it depending on the mood and stuff of your illustration. Now, my goal for you guys at the end of the season is to just do your D&D characters, so you probably won't get too moody with those portraits. Like, and I'm talking about like that really scary underlighting and stuff. That would be more for like an illustration where you're telling a story and he's in like a situation.
Yeah.
But that nice Rembrandt or something would probably be ideal, these two, for your like D&D portraits.
Put a little bit of that diffuse filter on them.
Diffused.
Smooths the skin tone. It's great.
So yeah. And if we have time today, we're gonna do a pen demo, and then I'll hopefully do a little bit of this in like a watercolor situation.
Yes.
So yeah.
Goes so fast.
Yeah, and like, you know, the nice thing about the computer, you can kind of like really
Play with it.
play with this a lot more than you could with when we do watercolor. But you can do this with pencil, and you can like with a light hand, you can kind of just
get a little bit of shade
get in there. Or a lot
and then a
of
little
people
smudgy smudge.
will even, like I'll do,
Whoa.
oh, that was, no, let's do it.
Oh God, Ford, no!
Whoa! You might want to color the back of your drawing and then chisel in the highlights. So like you could do this with charcoal powder or like really getting aggressive with a with your pencil, whatever your pencil you have. Just do that. And then you could erase away and show your highlights that way. If I have them on the right layer.
Cool.
You know, and then
Whoa.
let's do a gentler one. You know, but it would hit the cheek and that nose.
That kind of, it makes it feel like it's like nighttime and he's like
Yeah.
kind of walked by a torch sconce or something.
Yeah. But yeah, and those photos and stuff, I should probably be like looking at those and referencing some. But yeah, you can like carve out like what the shadows are gonna look like
So cool.
this way. When I did a portrait class, this is what we definitely would do every beginning class. We would like, when I was
You would
taking-
start with a
Yeah, you just like
background.
shadow everything first, like darken your paper from the start. And then, you know, people were asking me about kneaded erasers and stuff earlier. Like that's what I would use the kneaded eraser for, is to like lift up some of that shadow or some of that shading, like charcoal shading.
Yeah.
With the kneaded, and it would like lift it away, and you could like slowly build the planes
Like
of the face out.
the like doughy, squishy eraser.
Yeah,
that's, like,
yeah.
fun to play with. Interesting.
Yeah.
And you can just kind of like lift without smudging with those.
Yeah, it's like softer, so you can kind of do it without a harsher situation going on.
Right. Interesting.
So, you know, you can just like fuss with it. And
So wait, is charcoal powder like a thing that you like buy, like
if I was
do you
doing
just-
like
get the dust from your charcoal and just go?
oh no, charcoal powder is the thing. It comes in like a jar and it's already like smashed to smithereens, and then I would take like a tissue or like a cloth and just like dip it in and then just like wipe it down on your like thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you would want to use a harder charcoal to kind of draw the figure in and stuff, and then you know you can lift it up and the harder charcoal will stay put, and then the charcoal powder is made more of like a vine charcoal, which lifts really easily.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, there's lots of little things. Take a drawing class, it's very fun. The life drawing class, you most likely will be encouraged to use charcoal because it's like fast and easy to work with, and it's very forgiving. You can just like wipe it away. And,
Yeah.
Like, and you're on like newsprint and stuff.
Oh man.
So yeah, this is like starting with a mid-tone, and then you work your way, kind of like adding your highlights and then your shadows. I should have done shadows first, actually.
Neutral tone markers, charcoal powder, all these fancy art things
All these
that I didn't know
fancy.
existed.
Yeah, it's so fun. But
I took
yeah.
art in high school.
It's different.
Yeah.
I feel like that those teachers are mostly like beaten down.
Those poor
like,
teachers. Our
you're lucky
teacher
to get
was amazing, and she, like, the school wouldn't give her a budget for art class, so she just paid for it out of pocket to make sure that we had like art supplies to work with. So
Oh God.
yeah.
So like painting the background will kind of push him forward, you know. And then you guys can kind of just like intensify whatever shadows you need to like make that look how you want it to look. So there you go. There's like a really kind of like.
Is that like the kind of diffused one, kind of neutral lighting?
Yeah, I'm using like the softer one.
Yeah.
And then let's see.
So
Those
how would
highlights
you do?
are kind of like the plain, so I'm gonna keep those. What? I'll do it.
I was gonna say, how would you do backlit forward?
Okay, so I would probably take, I'd probably draw on top of the line work with like that white pen.
Yeah, to get those like sculpty.
Yeah, and we have a backlit one, so maybe I'll reference him.
Maybe I'll use these references that I made Steve take. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Whoops. Okay. So we have that harsh light on the one side. I'm gonna just do it with one of my solid pens.
Lurking forward.
Oh, and maybe I would like,
Darken the whole thing.
yeah. Except that's not really doing what I want, so I will just multiply.
Ooh. Ooh.
So I wanted it to get darker, but I had erased away on that layer, so I need to just like add it dark on top. Okay. Because that line is so harsh, I'm just like going right on top with that white pen.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's very like stylized. Is that the word I'm looking for?
My drawing?
It's like the, I don't know, the
Oh, it's very
lighting
dramatic.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
That's a better word.
a better word.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, maybe it's like hitting here some.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of when you have more information. And then, because I added this, and if you're working digitally and you want to retain some of your headaches of a layer you're working on, I'm going to just click this mask button down here. And what that does is, I'll move it up so you guys can see. See that layer with the white square next to it?
Uh-huh.
That's a mask. And what I'll do is I can only use black and white now.
Oh.
And that black is gonna wipe away. But if I change it to white, I can re-add. So like it acts like a mask. So like I'm erasing and adding and revealing with that white square. Does that make sense?
I don't understand
Okay.
how it works. I acknowledge that it works.
Yes, okay. So it's like a safety net on top.
Yeah.
So like your mask is there and it's white, and white lets everything through.
Yeah.
And the black
Covers everything up.
covers it up. So this is a darker square, right? So when I wipe away, that brightness shows through.
Yeah.
So like the squares, oh, this is so messed up. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to see the square because it's so big right now.
Yeah.
The corners of it is the square that's black, right?
Yeah. We'll do like this.
Oh, that's the mask.
No, this is our object. Here, I'll do it this way. This might be easier.
Mask on the object.
Yeah,
What?
the mask, I'm gonna delete it. This is a mask like covering everything up. You glue, if you click
Wait, the mask is not the
Option.
object, though.
So that was a shadow layer that I was putting the mask.
Shadow layer? You just introduced a third term.
I know, I'm so sorry. This
don't
darkness
understand the
I was
first
using.
two.
Okay, that layer is just this dark square, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's what I'm fussing with.
I see.
So I added a mask on top of that layer.
Okay.
Because I want to retain it no matter what I do. So I'm gonna
In the square or on the mask?
on the
mask.
square.
On the square. Okay. Uh-huh.
So I'm messing with the mask that's attached to the square.
We have a mask and it's shaped like a square and it's on top of Ford's face.
Yeah.
Photoshop.
Photoshop. I know,
Photoshop.
I'm so sorry. I'm so used to just like going. I'm being a bad teacher.
This is why so many people have requested
Photoshop lessons.
tutorials.
Yeah.
Next season we'll
Yeah.
do basics
This is
with
a-
Photoshop.
look up masking in Photoshop, and someone very much better will tell you exactly how to do this later. But right now, I'm just trying to save myself some headaches and keep that dark square pure and not messed with. So I put a mask on it so that I can fuss with it without working on it in a way that will mess it up and I can't like retain
Undo it.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. So let's see. I kind of am gonna play with maybe a cool brush.
So the shadow box has no relation to the mask?
The shadow box it's attached.
Okay.
Oh, somebody did a third. Okay, so this is a mask. These are both masked in opposite ways. So like, this is a mask where it's covering that shadow box, and I can paint it to reveal it if I'm on that square, and I'm using white. So I'm revealing that. I'm not painting in dark right now. I'm revealing that shadow box.
Oh.
But
Connecting.
yeah, okay. So,
Like the box.
so the white one is showing all of the box.
And then you use the
But I want
black.
Yeah, and you
Right.
have to click on the box or else I'm
To
gonna
make
mess
it-
up the layer. So the black will show highlights. So like,
highlights.
because I just want to do this soft one, I wanted to kind of retain it in case I mess up and stuff.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do a soft
Wow.
one. He's kind of hitting his
cool.
nose over there. I don't know if I'm loving what this brush is doing, but
Yeah, he does look a little like he's got, like a skin condition or something.
yeah, let's twist it up. But luckily I put that mask on there so I can just repaint that back on.
Okay. I think I understand.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm always trying to strive for like not getting too digital, and airbrush was like, I wasn't loving it, so I was trying something out, but
Interesting.
yeah, so yeah, I'm just fussing with it and trying to like match what I've got going on over there. And then here I might go on top where I have that and maybe add some of that lighting.
How long did it take you to get used to Photoshop?
I've been using it for so long.
Yeah.
I could not even tell you.
It's just
I
like
guess I've been
second
using it
nature
since
now.
like high school.
Ooh.
But kids are even getting into it so much younger now that it's been around for so long.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like a little bit of lighting from our like,
Cool. From our
and there's like our little bit of
that
reference.
soft lighting. That's cool.
Yeah. And I'm like not an expert and need to guess and stuff. And every face is different too, like depending on its shapes and stuff like that. Like the highlights will hit a little differently, and you just kind of gotta judge it on your own and see, like if it was like Pumat Soul's big nose, like it would be just a big flat plane, right? So it'd just be like a big highlight.
Right.
You
in the
know, it
front.
just like act a little different depending on what your character is.
Yeah. It's cool.
So I know, do you feel like you know a little bit, like if I was to put a lighting source on something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Light on an apple type of thing.
Yeah, you would just kind of want to think about its form and then try to guess how the light would look. And
Yeah,
a lot of
go from there.
objects, like you can, like that's why I kept talking about geometry in the beginning. Like if you can think about, if it's round or cylinder and if you can start with that object and maybe like throw some light on it yourself, like you can kind of guess like how it's gonna act, or folds of clothes and stuff like that. Like a lot of the stuff we'd be drawing for our D&D characters, you could probably mock something up and set up a mock lighting situation and kind of like have your answers kind of
For sure.
revealed.
And you can
to
just use like the flashlight on your phone.
Yeah,
So-
totally.
Everyone has a light on their phone. That's cool.
But yeah.
Let's do an artist spotlight. shall
Yeah,
we?
I know I kind of jumped into shading, but we do have an artist
Okay,
spotlight
artist
today.
Spotlight.
Where is the layer with his name on it? There it is. Can we do my screen? Because I have it on here.
Yeah, Kirk B.
Yeah, Kirk B. I picked him out. I think his art is so cool.
So cool.
He does all kinds of amazing techniques. So it's super digital, but he also does all these like textures and stuff on it that makes it not so much. But you can see he has these color holds on some of the line work. So like he has some light coming up this way and light going this way. But yeah, I think his style is really cool because it's so different than mine. Like,
That Neela
it's so good.
smell bag. So good.
And then we've got a
Yes, I love his bow.
bow and
Little Caduceus.
and these guys over here. Jesus, look at the scale of.
So like
So
accurate. Yeah.
These are so cool. I love this Archon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good.
I'm sorry, it was just a business moment.
And the costuming, he like really gets into textures and patterns and all like these great details in the costume. Like you guys think about that when you're doing your characters, you know, like look up some armors and things, and like the busier it looks, just the more like real I feel like it looks, you know? Or it's more interesting to look at and it feels more authentic because like, yeah, you would collect all that crazy stuff on your
Yeah, and
costume over
adventures,
time.
you're like just kind of, you walk around with everything that you own on you.
Yeah. And there's a Tova.
So good. I love how the knot is just covered in the trinkets,
Yeah.
and jewels.
Yeah, it's his
she
own unique take
stole.
on all these guys, and they're just like so fun.
So good.
I mean, he's also doing these great little like shadow bits, you know, to
Yeah.
make stuff like pop and create kind of dimension there with like the little shading. And we can try to play with that today too.
Yeah.
Look at these guys. This Ruby of the Sea is so
Oh my
good.
God. I haven't seen that. Glorious, like Gilmore's Glorious. That's
Yeah, I hadn't
great.
seen that before either. He sent this over when I was like, can I spotlight you? Anyway, I really love his work. I feel like it's really different and it's really fun. And look at these like buildings in the background here,
Ugh,
which are like
so
gorgeous.
much time.
Yeah.
So much detail work. Oh, love that piece.
Yeah. It's just so fun.
That was at the art gallery.
There's Kiki
And that
underwater.
Kiki.
So cool.
So good.
So many great lighting and coloring. Anyway, his stuff is amazing. I think he was really extra proud of this clock tower, which is insane.
Yes. Also, that they did as a big gatefold in the art book. For those of you who have the second art book.
Let me just like move that out of
So
the way
good.
for a second. So beautiful. And I thought I'd scrub through from top to bottom over here. And like, you can see he started out with this cool paper. Like he
Yeah.
has this like paper underneath these drawings that make it look like old-timey paper. And there's this great like coffee stain. So this is like an illustration maybe before or blueprint before the clock tower was like finished. But yeah,
Look at
it's
that.
like super gorgeous. Anyway,
Love
Will,
that
I love
piece
your
so
work.
much.
Thank you for letting me show it off on the
Yes,
show.
thank you, Will.
You are an inspiration, and your work is rad.
I love it. Okay, so
I thought we'd get into some nib
let's
inking.
do it.
Yeah, so
I
if
want
we
to
have
learn how to
time,
nib ink.
We'll do some nib inking today, and then if we can, we'll kind of use our lighting lesson to maybe do some watercolor on top. So you've got a gesture going on.
I do. That I was
Maybe I'll
supposed
snag
to
one
like finish. And she's pretty much finished.
She's pretty good.
And she's pretty good.
Oh wait, do you mind if I grab this paper? Oh, that's the last one. I'll do.
I think we have other pads. Don't we? Did we go through
This one.
We didn't.
No,
go.
I have some right here.
Oh, you just want scrap paper. Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah.
Scrap it, deal.
Yeah, so I thought we'd go over that today. So I kind of went over the nib inking tools a little bit last time. Not the episode, but not the last episode because I forgot them, but the one before that. And Marisha, I was gonna let you try it out, and yeah, I feel like your last piece turned out so good. So like, if you aren't comfortable with it, you can jump back onto the felt tip pen.
Okay. Yeah.
And I can like kind of give a inking demo or whatever over here.
Okay. Oh my goodness, it feels so committal.
I
Like,
know,
if last
and it's like
week
really scary, right?
Is it scary?
So like, again though, it's you got your scrap piece and you just like keep making marks until
You find like the right weight
until you
where
get
it is.
yeah, and you feel comfortable. It's very much similar. It's like if you guys can handle that felt tip pen, it's very much in the same vein where you just kind of do a little bit at a time and see how you feel.
Okay.
So like this is my favorite ink ever. So I'm gonna crack that open. Well, I'll let you maybe start with it. I'm
gonna start?
I'm gonna do
Okay.
the demos maybe real quick, and then you get going.
Is that it's just a bubble.
Oh yeah, that's totally a bubble. So this might happen sometimes, and you're gonna want to do this.
Oh, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've ruined
Made
it
that
once of
mistake.
many, and I'm sure there's maybe a better version, a way to do that, but that's how I do it. So I just like wipe it away.
Oh, I
afterwards.
never would have thought about that.
But yeah, I've done that
just
before.
be
I'm like,
bubble.
because that's your natural instinct when you see a bubble thing.
So are there different kinds of inks, like how there are these crazy markers?
There's
that are-
totally different kinds of inks. I like this one the most because I found that I can use watercolor and Copic with it without it
interfering too much.
giving me trouble. So let me get some of these old papers out of the way. There's our bow from last week.
Oh my goodness.
So here's a pin for you.
Okay.
And if you want, you can like fuss with it. So
you just dip it straight in.
you can just dip it straight in.
Do you dip a lot? Ooh, getting.
I try to get up to here. I've seen people do ink droppers into like this thing, but I just kind of dip it and it works well enough for me.
Okay.
This is called a G-nib. So I use two. Oh, perfect. Thanks. Max brought me some water. I use a G-nib to do the bigger lines, and then for tighter stuff, I'll use this like number 099, which is a super tiny one.
And then when you push harder, more stuff.
You get like a
comes
fat
out.
line, yeah. And so this is a lot of ink, what you've got going on. Can we show
There's a lot.
Marisha's?
Okay.
Real quick. I'll let you fuss with that way, get a piece of paper out.
Okay, so is this like too much ink that I'm working?
Yeah, I would be careful not to get too globby with it.
Okay, because that does feel
Because
very...
what's gonna happen is your hand's gonna brush that, and it's
Can
gonna.
we go to my cam, Zach? There we go. Let me see here.
So there, you can see like Marisha got a little blobby with it over there.
Still a little blobby. Okay, so
I'm letting Marisha kind of get familiar with that. I'm gonna sketch something real quick to ink. Oh, I had pencils out right here. Do red.
this is so fun.
I think I'm gonna do forward.
And then you just re-dip when it's time. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, but how do you keep it? Is there a way to like, do you just not dip so far to keep it from getting globby?
Yeah, so I usually,
Or do you just not push as hard?
that's exactly what I'd be doing on the scrap paper. The scrap paper is trying to, maybe not dip as much, try not to grab as much ink, but also like test it out on the side. And if it is gonna do that globby thing, like get that out of the way on the test paper.
So you don't do it on your,
Yeah.
yeah, because this is like,
And like,
Still
there might be
there.
people out there, like I taught myself this like during Inktober. I was just like,
really?
you know what? I'm gonna play with this and teach myself how to use this during Inktober. It's the perfect excuse to learn this like tool that is very popular with like manga artists and stuff. Like all of them use these like dip nib pins to do all their manga. And I remember playing with it when I was in school, but I definitely wasn't using the right, paper and stuff. And
just wasn't right.
it just wasn't right. It didn't ever click for me. And I think like when I got older,
Oh,
sorry. When I got older, I kind of like learned, I learned more and I got a little more humble and I was like, oh, this is like, I'm not too good for it. I just didn't know how to use it correctly. Yeah. Okay. So there's like a little.
It's very fun to play with.
Yeah, I really like it. I will sometimes switch between back and forth, but like something neat about the ink also is if you look at the blacks in your drawing and look at the blacks that ink just made.
They're totally different.
It's like true black here. Can you like pull out a little bit?
Yeah, can we pull out on that PTZ?
Or here I can show.
That's so cool.
Oh yeah, there you go. So like the blacks in your earring and the eyelashes and stuff, like this is so much richer.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of neat too, like something you lose when you erase that felt tip is like, it doesn't look as rich like once you erase it away. And that's something you can fix once you like scan it in and stuff. Like it doesn't matter so much with you're doing something where you scan it in, but if it's gonna go in an art gallery or on your wall, those are little things you kind of notice about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a much more like crushed black.
Yeah.
That's cool.
A true black.
True black.
Okay, so I did a little forward real quick.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Okay, here's my jester.
Your jester, which I helped a little bit
You did
with.
help to speed up the process.
And Danny did a cute little post.
Yeah,
for you,
I used a Danny ref.
which is great. So one of the things when you are inking, I think having a tissue in one of your hands is good, because that's a way you can like dab off some of that ink or clean it. If you kind of want to. Sometimes you'll get that little paper, that little paper build up on the tip, and you can just like wipe it. So test it out on your scrap piece. I think grabbing a little is a good start, and then grabbing a little at first and building your way up is better than just like going straight for a big glop or whatever. And the neat thing about this G-nib, here, and I'll show you on my scrap piece, is like how Marisha was doing. You can get a fatty fat line.
Yeah, if you like really push on it.
Really
I
push on it, you can get that fat line, or you could get
made it globby.
little fine, tiny lines.
It was the first thing that happened.
We'll wipe it off some or whatever.
And you just like soak it up.
Oh, no, just leave that.
Just let it go.
Work around that.
Work around it.
Let that
Okay.
dry. Because anything you try right now,
It's gonna ruin the whole damn thing.
yeah. So just
isn't
give it a few
Okay.
minutes, and it will get matte when it's dry.
And it's not shiny no more.
Yeah. So just be careful.
At least it's a thick line.
Oh yeah, that was very smart too. I always start with an eyelash or an eyebrow because you can kind of massage that if you mess it up, right? You can give the more eyeliner, or you can like, that eyebrow can just get a little thicker if you do mess up that area.
And you can erase over this or erase it once it's like done?
Yeah, so like not in a traditional sense, but I have this great whiteout stuff called Doc Martin Pen White, and this shit covers up almost all sins.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to show that off tonight, so I'll have that waiting in the wings. Whoops, that's my tiny one. It's like, I don't know if I'll use that tiny one tonight because my portrait of Ford is so big, but if I was doing a full body illustration, that tinier nib might come in handy.
Where's the easiest place to get these?
Any art store. Oh, thank you. Any art store would be good. My favorite art store is Artists and Craftsman Supply. Like, hopefully they haven't done anything evil, so I can like keep shopping there.
Isn't that the worst?
Yeah. But as far as I know, they're pretty okay. You guys let me know. I guess, if not. But yeah, they're a chain, but they're not a huge chain, and the inside doesn't feel super chainy, and I feel like the people are super helpful in there, and that's like where I found a majority of these art supplies. That and like jetpens.com for all of the inking stuff. They have these really cute, cool sets. Set of like felt tip pens they'll send you, and then you can just play with all of them and then see which one like you kind of like, because I've been telling you guys what my favorite supplies are, but like the way you hold a pen and the way you move your hand and the way you make your art might be different than me, and you might like a different type of tool, you know?
Yeah.
So just like if you are lucky enough to be able to fuss around and play with your spend that money and kind of find out what is right for you, then go for it, because you just never know. It's like not always the tools when it comes to that type of sense that'll make you better, right? It's like dependent on you. Find your own style.
Find your style.
So I'm sharing this ink with Marisha right now, but I would probably not put it across my drawing.
Yeah.
But I'm a fucking professional. Don't try this at home. But yeah, having it, close to you on the other side.
Across.
Yeah, depending on what your hand is. Yeah, try not to like bring those globs over. Yeah, so I kind of did a big dip there. So to test out whether I was going to get a big glob or not, I did a couple scratches over here and it felt fine. So here we go. But yeah, I really enjoy it. And it's not for everybody, but the more I do it, the more I kind of fall in love and the more I get better at it. I know doing art kind of has warped my sense of, if I'm not instantly good at it, it's not for me, kind of situation. Because I always was kind of good at it. So sports and stuff or whatever else I tried, I was like, oh, I wasn't instantly brilliant. So it just must not be in the cards for me.
Yeah.
So like, I think when I initially started doing dip pen, because I didn't know what I was doing and I was younger and I just assumed a little bit more. But also now we have YouTube videos and stuff like that. It would be so cool. Like I couldn't do that back in the day, but
yeah, that's so true.
But now I can like look up tutorials and
oh man, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The amount of things that I've done with YouTube.
Right?
Like,
Kids in their like highlights and their cool makeup looks and stuff. They could do so much younger now.
Very, very broke, just getting started, still working on Hollywood Boulevard, starving artist with no cash in my name.
Yeah.
I would do all of the work on my car myself.
What?
Yeah.
That's so badass, Marisha.
If like the alternator needed to be changed and I didn't have, $250, $300 to take it into a mechanic. So I just bought the alternator, looked up a YouTube tutorial, and it was fine. I did it.
That's crazy.
Honestly, it wasn't too hard.
Do you feel that, was it like how you approach art? Were you like nervous about it at first and then you like?
I'm a little, yeah. I think I had a little bit of that, if I mess this up, I guess the worst thing that's gonna happen. It's not too bad. It feels a little shaky, but
yeah. Try to keep your fatness consistency. So now that you have these chunkier, oh my God, my nails look so cute.
They do. I love them. I made them recently too. Yay.
Okay. Anyway, since you kind of have this chunky style going, I would try to keep that consistent. So,
on all the hair bits.
Committed that to these top bits. Add that over here.
Do you mean general across all things, or when doing hair, keep it the same line length?
I think across all things now that you've kind of have it going on. So you can have these thinner bits, but I think maybe another hard line over here. You kind of just want to think about it visually, what would be visually pleasing and look the more professional. I think if you have the similar line width, thick and thickness throughout your drawing would be good.
Right. Okay.
So her hair's so dark, it might not be worth drawing in those hairs. We'll probably just color those in. No, I'm just just something to think about.
Oh, that's right. I guess we were gonna be doing some watercolor.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
shading.
paint that in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yep, that's new, so you didn't know. So I was letting you know. Oh, I know. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm gonna try not to lean into the camera, guys. Sorry.
Oh man,
this is so unnatural. Okay.
This is so unnatural.
Let's see. Way forward. I'm gonna do some hair.
Oh my God. Sometimes I feel like I test it and it's I'm fine, and then it's not fine.
That's that just comes with practice. And kind of having a consistent hand pressure, you kind of eventually learn the little space of pressure you have to stick in.
Yeah,
you have to stay in. Yeah, the groove.
There's also something about it, when it kind of scrapes across the paper, that I don't know if it's satisfying or if I am.
Oh, people say that every time I stream.
Really,
they're like,
very,
the sound.
It's very ASMR goodness.
Yeah. I never thought about that, but I guess it is.
There's also something to it though where I'm I'm not gonna break this, right?
No, I think you'd have to work really hard and take really bad care of it to get it to do that. But yeah, you can go so fat with it. I just made this
by pressing pretty hard.
I just made this thick line, that's pressure, with all that pressure. You're not gonna break it. Yeah.
It's metal. It's fine.
It's fine. But what do you think compared to inking so far?
Compared to doing it with the markers from last week?
The markers, the felt tip pins.
The felt, I mean, I felt like my shit looked better with the felt tips.
Really? I don't think it looks that bad so far.
No? Okay.
But yeah, it is a little bit of a learning curve.
Yeah, 100%. Because everyone knows what a felt tip marker feels like.
Yeah. And I gave you that one, the reason I love that one I recommended was because it gives you so much pushback. It's harder for you to fuck it up.
Yeah, totally.
And you can kind of let your pen rest and it doesn't do that bleed thing. And that's a combination of a great pen and good paper. But yeah.
Oh my goodness. And doesn't, I'm kind of using it sideways, but should you kind of keep rotating this guy?
What do I do? I guess so, but I think keeping it mostly front
facing.
Front center is probably ideal. But yeah, if I want a line to taper or something, I'll twist it and maybe like lift it up a little bit, you know? And that's just like practicing off to the side a little bit. Yeah, you see if it's starting to give you a struggle time, it's time to lift it up and then bring it down at a better angle. And like, keep in mind we're on camera, but you could, if you're at home and stuff, you can like rotate your canvas to like help your wrist, like kind of get that angle smoother and stuff.
Do that here a bit more too. Oh, those globbies.
Don't worry, we'll fix them.
Oh, they get so globby.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. I mess up too all the time, and oh, see, I just did it. It's not even worth stressing about because that white's gonna fix everything. I met so many sweet critters at con this weekend.
Oh yeah, you were in Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And
did you get pub draw love?
I get lots of pub draw love. Thanks for coming by, guys. And people really enjoyed. And I think that's what's appealing about our show is like how when we do mess up, you just gotta like keep going and not sweat it. And then, you know, just realize that it's not like the end of the world when stuff like that happens. So like my little portrait is mostly done.
Wait, what? You're done already?
Well, I'm not doing too much.
Oh, okay.
Well, you got just all Jester's hair and stuff.
That's true.
Ford will go a little bit faster because he doesn't have too much, but
I should probably pick up the pace. I'm being very precious about this.
Don't you worry about it.
I was like, I'll do Jester because I feel like she was one of the ones that I struggled with the most. So I'll do her and try and get more practice. Why did I do that?
My Ford's making such a stink face.
He is.
Maybe I'll fix it. Let's see. I'm gonna put out. It's like this is my little watercolor dish.
So cute.
So I'm just gonna do black and white on him. I kept saying watercolor because I do use the shading is just plain old black watercolor. It's kind of like what I use to do these like black and white illustrations. So we're not gonna do.
How does this work? Is it a paste and then you mix it?
Oh yeah, so it's just like this paint. And you don't really need to mix it, you just kind of water it down. Because black will make gray when you add water. Yeah. And I'll show that in a second. So I've got some old stuff on there, but I'm gonna put some new stuff down just for easiness sake. So when it's fresh, it's kind of more workable than when it's like old. You kind of add a lot of water and it's kind of a pain in the butt. I should try to erase some of that away. So here's me checking for more globs that I will further mess my guy up.
Oh, to make sure that it's not globby.
You got a couple mess ups here, but I can clean that up with that white stuff, so I'm not gonna stress about it. And even this mouth, I might take that white and kind of like
shorten it a bit.
To make him less like grumpy boy USA. So yeah, that kind of stuff you just like, you don't stress about because you can fix it. Oh wait, you're still using that. I'm gonna leave that out. So now I'm thinking about whether to do that now or later. So like I usually keep that white to the very end because when you do your shadows and stuff, that might be another opportunity for you to fix that.
To cover.
And like this white, like once you put it down, it's hard to do shadows with
over top
down.
of it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So like this is something you want to do at the very, very end. And like if I can, like his armor will probably be black. So I could probably hide that with like nicks and cuts and like a dark spot in his armor. And then this maybe I'll like make that armor wrap around. So I'll also hide that. But this rogue stuff off the side here in the white background, like I might white that out, or I might like add shadow behind his head and that just might blend in. So like, you know, you kind of want to look at your mistakes and stuff and see what you can fix without it. He might be trickier. So if I like paint his skin color it might be harder for me to hide that. So that'll just have to be a decision I make as I go along. I'm gonna keep it for now.
So you said you started using,
Will you give me that fat eraser you got over there?
yeah, you started using dip
And you can keep that
pens.
over next to you now that I'm done with it.
Dip pens during Inktober.
Inktober, yeah. I don't know how much of you guys know what that is, but in the art community kind of does this cute thing called Inktober where
It's my favorite holiday.
Really?
So many
Now you
corner
can
art.
Participate, Marisha. Yeah. Yeah, you guys as a community, you all like commit to doing an ink drawing a day. And because New York Comic Con is always the beginning of the month, I always get about 4 days in, and then it like drastically tapers off.
Yeah.
But I think the key, what I learned the more years that I've attempted it, is that, maybe you aren't the one, maybe it's not for you to do every 31, the whole 31 days, but maybe you can do every 4 days or 2 days or once a week or something, and don't punish yourself for not being able to do the whole month, which happens to me. Like, I'm like, oh, I missed a day, like, forget it.
The worst,
like,
yeah.
flip the table and just like quit, and you're just like, it's for fun. So it clicked with me one year. I was like, it's fun. Like, I should just like participate when I can.
Yeah, it's not a requirement. No one's like.
Yeah.
Oh, it's giveaway time. It's already that time. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, as you know, we are giving away a new Wacom Intuos in chat.
Yeah.
I'm about to give you a keyword. Only enter it once. If you enter it more than once, you will be disqualified. Right now, the offer is only good for the residents of the United States and Canada, excluding Quebec. For the official rules that I don't make, follow the link in the chat or go to critroll.com. The keyword is carbon.
Oh.
It's pretty cool. It's, I guess, like an ink thing, kind of. Okay,
Carbon black.
Yeah.
Sure.
Keep an eye on your whispers, and we will close the contest and announce a winner in the next 5 minutes. And I will see how far I can get in finishing this insanity. So something else I am realizing in this very moment in time.
Yeah. What?
Maybe you should work from like left
sure.
to right.
That's a good
If you're
point.
right hand,
So-
or vice versa if you're left-handed, because I am now like marching
doing-
over top of
So like what I'll do is you can look at it and see like how dry it looks, or I kind of do these like light taps and check out my hand and see if it's dry or not. So I think your goal, because you're getting real gloppy, I see you keep doing those add less ink. Try to do a little less ink and try not to get those, because like that shouldn't really happen. You should be able to do that without those globs, and then it should dry a little bit faster. You should be able to move your hand across the page a little more ease. That's looking so cute though, Marisha.
Oh, thanks. She's getting there.
All right, my Ford is looking 40.
Lordy, lordy.
So I've got my little watercolor over here. So what I'll do is I'll have a scrap piece. I'm trying to like keep it in the view so you guys can see it still. So this is the same paper that I'm testing it on, and I kind of want to see what it's going to act like. So I do it over here first, and then kind of get a shade that I like. And I try to go, you want to work light to dark, because it's a lot easier. Oh, thank you guys. That camera is so cool.
Yeah.
You kind of want to work light to dark. So like, you can always darken watercolor. It's a lot harder to take it away. And by, shading, that's just kind of a rule across the board, right? Same with the markers and stuff like that. You kind of want to add light first. Or if you're feeling bold, like I think I might do his hair first.
Oh my goodness.
Because I want to get that cool hair highlight, because that's just what I'm feeling right now.
So did you find, was that Inktober that you found this after Motor Crush?
Yeah, it was, it's kind of in between issues. So like, I was only using that felt tip pen, and then I did play a little bit with doing starting to do some pages with that dip pen after that. But honestly, speed-wise and headache-wise, since I was scanning in those pages and only like really specific collectors would even want those, I did end up just mostly using the felt tip just because it's like faster and more control and like you don't have to be as like careful.
Right.
But all of my commissions and stuff, I do with a
with dip pen.
with the dip pen. And one of the reasons is that I can do this like watercolor with it. And I think with the Copics, I'm pretty sure this is one of the main reasons I switched was it bled. So like I can't really combine certain things because it just acts different. I forget the official reason, but something with Copics, they're alcohol based and not or water based or something, and it acts very different. So you just got to be careful. So there's a little highlight in Ford's hair, and like maybe I want that poof to like be a little more poofy, so you can clean your brush and kind of like pick up and take away some of that.
Whoa.
So yeah, so now that poof kind of comes out a little bit more. So watercolor is kind of cool.
It's crazy.
So I'm not an expert with it. I know how to do black and white, pretty okay, because I've been doing those commissions a lot with it. But watercolor and painting is like wicked hard. And I'm much better at other mediums when it comes to painting, much more forgiving mediums. So I have not yet mastered watercoloring. I can fake it on the computer really good because the computer's like super forgiving, but is it a medium that I'm gonna like seek out and wanna do and put me through my paces? Like probably not, because I'm better and faster at other things. It's not for me.
It's not for you.
It's not my medium.
Not yet.
Oh, we
have a winner. Congratulations to Laz the DK. The Death Knight. I'm assuming you're Laz the Death Knight. You might not be a Death Knight. I'm sorry if I'm putting that on you, and that is not who you are.
A Dark Knight.
Maybe you are a Dark Knight. Maybe you're Donkey Kong. Congratulations to Laz the Diddy Kong. I hope you enjoy that Intuos. Congrats. Oh wait, let me put more ink on this. Okay, I'm getting there.
So I'm kind of feeling this out, doing the big dark spaces, because even if I go too dark, it's black hair and black eyebrows, so you're not gonna mess up too bad. So it's a good way to kind of like, you can always go lighter and fill it in later, but it's kind of a safe start if you're feeling this out. And again, also you could just do it off to the side. And then get in there.
Scratch.
Getting the right consistency and stuff. I feel like I'm not talking enough about that, but it's really something you got to feel out yourself. Like when you get going, you kind of want to be able to make like a little smooth pool of color.
A smooth pool of color.
Yeah, and like, I don't mean a soaking wet pool. I mean like a nice clean circle where it's not too thick. So you're not rushing your hand over it. Yeah. Here you're gonna feel it out, guys. All right, I'm gonna go for some shadows. Man, we could even do, how much time do we have left? Does anyone know? 20, okay. So I might try to do Ford's like gradient on his skin and then do shadows, which is like super ambitious.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go for it. Because I think showing gradients would be kind of cool too. So if I wanted to do that, he kind of goes dark to light, right? So I would wet the paper first, and then I would bring up the darker color and kind of like put that in the wetness first at the top, and then kind of like work it in and make that gradient kind of go down to the bottom. So like that's what I'll try to do on his skin to make that like base, you know, green to kind of light green, or teal to kind of light green.
Is there a reality in which you like soak your paper too much?
Yeah,
Watercolor?
it will warp. Like there's so many different ways to, there's so many more professional, like if I was painting a whole watercolor piece, you'd want to like, where it's like from the edges and everything. Like I'm mostly staying in the center of this paper, so I don't feel as obligated to tape it down. But you'd want to like tape it down, and it might get warped, but then it would like flatten out later.
Right.
But I think you want to be careful not to add too much moisture and make it warp at all in the first place. So here goes.
There is something like about this dip pen situation where like
Are you warming up to it?
I see
It's
appeal because it does make you like, it's very deliberate, if that makes sense. Like everything, it kind of makes you have to like think about everything, and then you have to go and re-dip it, so it gives you more time to think and
Yeah, it kind of forces you to slow down.
slow down. Yeah.
That is an interesting point that I've never thought about. But yeah, it totally does. I just go
Well,
on
like you said, with
autopilot
the-
and I don't think, but yeah, that's very
Right.
interesting.
Once again, like with a felt tip, you just keep moving from one thing to another.
Yeah.
And you can kind of just like, so like every time I pull the pen away, I kind of look and reevaluate.
And like, honestly, if that gets you into the habit of doing that, that's great, because that's what you should be doing anyway.
Right.
Totally.
Like it almost, starting here could help you form better habits in the long run.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm kind of being a real wiener and slowly building this up, but I don't want to.
And my scratch paper over here looks like trying to make ley lines.
Is it
Mariana's Trench.
That's okay. That's perfectly. It's scratch. It's what scratch paper is for. Let all those sins live on the scratch paper. So I'm kind of doing a top down. Oh, I guess I should go over this brush I'm using too. Let's see, a Princeton Long Round number 8 is what I've got right here. I like it a lot. You can do really fine. You could do really like fine, tiny corners, like tiny marks like that. Or you could like hold it to its side and get big fat marks. So it's kind of like great because you can kind of, it gives you a big range. Like a lot of people have like a million different size brushes, but if you have a few good ones, you could also do just as much damage. Like I do have one that's very tiny, but I think that's, you know, if I get into some serious precision shit right here, like highlights, like tiny dot highlights and stuff.
With
Like
watercolor?
No, I would probably, I mean, you can use this for watercolor, or there's some artists that will paint their whole drawing with this, but that's really skilled, and I'm not there. I could, it would be hard, and it would take me a while, but you'd kind of have to really take your time with this.
Yeah.
Because it's there's no like pushback. So like the way I make my marks, it's like it's a harder tool for me to use and to do line work with, because I would have to be so controlled the whole time. And it's not quite my style. I kind of like to be a little bit aggressive and like push down on my tools.
So, for, you know, not for me, Babs Tarr, what is the next medium that you would like to master?
What is on my list? I think gouache would be really fun now that I'm kind of warming up to this watercolor stuff. Gouache is kind of like watercolor, but it's thicker, and it's also hard to work with, and it's not as forgiving, but because it has these like big fat strokes of color, I feel like it's a little bit more forgiving than watercolor, because you're mostly like pretty transparent with watercolor the whole time.
Yeah.
A gouache, you kind of get these like bright flat shapes of color that look so pretty. And
You're saying gouache?
gouache, yeah.
Gouache.
Gouache.
Like washing this guava.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, and you can water down. Uh-oh,
Damn
what
it.
happened?
I stuck it. I did it. I did the thing. I stuck my
Where?
hand.
Oh, no, it's
just
fine.
a
Leave it,
little.
leave it, leave it.
Okay.
So like what Marisha just tried to do was smear that all over her drawing and make it way worse. The ideal situation
Oh,
is
don't zoom in on my shame. Come on.
What you want to do is just let that dry, and then we're gonna fix it later. You want to keep it as your mess ups as minimal as possible. So like, do not try to wipe that away. Like, we will either darken that area with her dark hair so you won't even see it, or we'll like white it out with that white. That Doc Martin stuff. We'll probably darken it, since it's like, we'll add some hair lines there and stuff. Like, that's the key, right? You just like, how can I just make that work for me? I messed up there, but only a few times I feel, well, not a few. There's been times where I've like had to just like restart.
Just such a big mess up.
But I've gotten, you kind of get savvy to like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna do my sketch on a separate piece of paper, and I'm gonna light box that. So like, if I did mess up on the inking part, instead of having to go all the way back to the sketch stage, I have the sketch done. So all I have to really redo is that inking part. So you kind of start thinking very modularly about your process and what you can kind of like save yourself headaches doing. I'm doing a little bit of like, now Ford's eyes are super yellow and light, so I don't want to get too dark with the shadow there.
Hey, should I do anything else to this? Or is this like...
No, it's pretty good, Marisha. You know what? Inking is your thing, girl. I think it's your thing. We should have put an ink pen in your hand from day one. She's pretty cute. How do you feel about her?
Pretty good. Her hair got a little like fat over here, but
yeah,
not in a, you know, it's fine.
Well, you could keep fussing with it and see what
happens.
See what happens. Like, if you think about it, let's think about it, right? So if she's got a bun, she needs hair to pull up in that bun. So maybe fill in that line,
that
like
a little
it's
bit
getting
more
pulled behind to the top.
Yeah.
And then that would maybe inform this shape. Like, move your hand for a second so I can see. So like, I think this would maybe not happen. It would be pulled back, and then
it would be thinner there.
Yeah, we'll do a little indent there, and like maybe redraw this line off of the side here, and then we can just white
White that
one
out.
Yeah.
Do
And that might help, but it also looks fine. But if you want to level it up and you want to polish it,
right.
that's something you can do. Okay.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
sorta did it. I'm gonna connect. Come on, I just need a little bit more. Trying to connect that one. And, yeah, it's fine.
So in a perfect world, we'd be like, you know what, I'm kind of stumped on what this hair would be doing. You could like Google like a girl with like short
hair.
slightly curly hair and like try to look at a 3/4 view and see what that looks like from the side. In a perfect world. But you know what, that looks better than it did before to me.
Yeah, so you're just gonna like get rid of that.
Yeah, we can white that line out and then fill her in.
Feels a little bit better. Okay,
So,
where should I start with
I would
this?
give it a go.
The
I would
10
like
minutes we have left.
be very gingerly erase bits that you are sure are dry.
Okay. Okay. Erasing bits that you're sure are dry.
So like her, that first eyeball you started with might be, if you haven't touched that since you first drew it, might be a safe spot. If I was working on a bunch of commissions, I would literally put that to the side and like start
Do another one.
Start inking on the next one, and that way it would give it like plenty of time to dry. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna put the lid back on this because I am terrified of a catastrophe.
Smart, because that will happen knowing us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like whenever I do my nails or something.
I'm just slowly thinking about that top-down shadow and building my way there. There's no need to
You're
go.
doing the top down.
Yeah, I did a little top down on forward.
Am I sticking my hand in it again?
No, I
Maybe
don't
a little.
think
It's not
so.
too bad. Not too bad. Where are we looking wet?
You could also just like
Looking wet. I know it's.
check your fingers and stuff. Don't press down too hard though.
Okay. Yeah. Give me this big fatty. Oh my God, I'm so scared. Oh, it's got a little texture to it.
What does?
The ink. I can like feel it.
Oh yeah, isn't that cool?
It's a little, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
that's
little
cool.
ridge.
A little ridgy.
So I'm just doing a little bit of background to pop
So
it out.
I've never seen like the thick pasty watercolor.
Like
I'm
the
used
gouache.
to what you're using there. 'Cause I'm used
Yeah.
to like once again what we did in school with the like
The little like,
palette,
round
like
things.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
you just wet your.
Like proper art watercolor comes in these tubes, and then there's these like little square cases that when it dries it does turn into that, and like there's no reason you can't reuse that
Just
when
keep it.
when it dries out.
Yeah, got ya.
But it is a little bit easier to work with because you don't have to work so hard to like wet it
Right.
when it does come out.
Can you use
fresh.
like for people who want to try along with this? do
Yeah, you
recommend
can
using,
play
like,
with
like the Crayola watercolor. You can basically get at the
like
store.
I haven't used those in years, so like, and I'm not a watercolor expert, so like I cannot say
One way or the other.
one way or the other, but my gut tells me no. And I would go to the art store and buy like 5 colors, and you want to stick with like a red, a yellow, a blue, maybe black, or not even a black. You could literally mix black, but next season we'll get into colors and stuff. But you can, if you have those 3, you can mix almost every color. And even black, if you mix all those 3, the red, the blue, and the yellow together, it'll like make a really cool black.
Black, yeah. That's cool.
A dirty black or whatever, but yeah. I would like play with getting like, if you want to get into it and you don't want to spend a ton of money, like grab those 3 colors, maybe grab a black. Some of the tools that you need, and just like work with that and play with that, or like get whatever colors you want and go ham and be your own person or whatever, but but those 3 colors will make almost all the other colors, so
I know we keep talking about next season of Pub Draw. Next week's episode is our finale episode for this season. So we'll take a break, but we want you guys to practice while we take a break. Babs, I know you're doing a ton of cons this season, or this summer.
Yeah.
Okay, she feels pretty erased, right? For the most part?
Yeah, she looks great.
Okay. What should I do now? Is this crazy for me to start anything like this, like with 5 minutes left?
We could do a little. You could do your very light wash, where you kind of add just a little light shadow.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you this brush. Hold on.
Yeah, you're doing a ton of cons.
Yeah, I actually just got a table to Denver, so I'll be with you guys.
Yes, you're gonna be with us at Denver
Comic-Con,
Comic-Con.
which should be super
so
fun.
excited.
Come see us.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to Armageddon Con in like New Zealand in like 9 days, which should be really fun. I'm gonna go to Hobbiton, and my friends know some people at freaking Weta Workshop, which is like where I wanted to work when I was younger, so that'll be like super fun.
We did the tour when we did, I think we did when we did Supernova out there. Did we also do Armageddon?
Here you go.
Oh my God, okay.
So you've got your scrap piece over there. Mm-hmm. So maybe try out, kind of feel it out.
Ooh,
this
they're soft.
This little bit here.
It's like butter.
I'll put it over here.
What little bit?
This is the black ink. So you just want to grab a little tiny bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the water right next to it.
Okay.
You're gonna want to keep a paper towel in your one hand.
Okay.
Do this one. Now that's gonna be, kind of dab. If it's too wet, kind of dab it off over in your hand, like maybe add a little water to that. You want to be able to do that little pool.
Oh, we want to work on the pool.
Yeah, we're gonna do big. Yeah.
Big pool. Okay. I'm feeling it.
She's really cute. Let's not mess her up the last 5 minutes.
I know. Oh, and Max wants us to stop. Okay, there's a little bit of a pool. Just a little bit, and then we'll call it. But next week for our finale, we're gonna have Matt Mercer on.
Yeah.
Y'all.
We're gonna draw Gilmore.
We're gonna draw some Gilmores.
Gilmore and his glorious goods.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not his glorious goods. Max
Tune in.
probably won't let
It
me,
should
but
be fun.
Wares.
it just is. We'll draw some glorious goods. We'll see.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to teach you, maybe like we'll go over kind of like how to make gold and how to make a crystal kind of thing. So
gloriousness.
yeah, some
Next week is
gloriousness,
gloriousness.
and sparkles and shine and stuff like that. So maybe we'll get more into like.
Should I just like do just a little bit of her hair? What should I do here?
I don't know. I'm so scared.
I'm so scared.
Maybe just like do a little shadow under her nose and under her chin.
Just a little bit of this.
And remember I told you guys
done.
like everything is shapes, like so is shadow. So like you just have to think about Oh, that's perfect. And maybe it's casting down below her nose like a little bit. No.
Go away.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Just wipe your nose
It looks great.
a little.
Okay, that was an episode of Pop Draw, guys.
And then,
Yeah, that's
darn
great.
it.
Just play with it, and you've got it so watery and thin right now that you could just like, if you do it, mess it up. Oh my gosh, you want to do that Copic thing where you feathered it so bad right now.
Did I?
But yeah, you can just take your little paper towel, and I'm just gonna show you an example of it right now. Where you can just dab and literally soften those lines,
yeah.
right? It just like
It
picks
looks
it
so
up.
much better.
So-
Already.
Oh yeah. Okay, 2 seconds. I'm so sorry, Max. Can we zoom in on mine? I'll show you this white stuff because it's the best.
Yeah. Let's fix some of our shame.
So I'll use this brush.
And then she would have a little bit of a...
So like say I want to fix this blob right here. It literally just like covers it and cleans it. It makes it go away. Maybe I want to like cover that blob up with like some scratch marks on his armor and stuff. Like there, I fixed it.
Yeah.
And I kind of messed up on his nose over here, so I can fix that. And then I want that smile not to go as far. So you can kind of just fix it. And then if I'm feeling really nervous, like now that all the watercolor bit's done and stuff, I'll take my like pen that gives me more precision and shit, and I'll just like go through and get it real tight and good, like how I want it with that. Because the watercolor's already done, so I don't have to worry about it bleeding and stuff.
Right.
So there's your little sample.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's a big chunk of it that was on here, and like that's how good that shit works.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
oh my gosh.
you don't have to worry about anything with this white stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's Dr. P.H. Martin's pen white. It's fucking dope. Fix all your sins. All right.
Well, I kind of did a little bit.
You did a little bit. I'm sorry I didn't have
Jest.
time, but maybe I can be your
No,
homework.
the dip pen thing was fascinating, and yeah, I'm glad we got to do that.
Yeah.
So, but that was
homework.
definitely like a learning curve.
Yeah.
But there's my final gesture, everybody.
And I wanted you to try it out. And well, maybe you can work on her some more, and that'll be
That's
your
like
homework.
the best gesture that I've done thus far.
She's
All
pretty
my other
cute.
gestures have gotten a little janky,
Yeah.
but she's pretty cute. Anyway,
Yeah, homework-wise, let's
Yes.
do
for your submissions
Critical Role character or D&D character, your own.
of your choice, yeah.
But like, let me see some like dramatic shadows.
Some lighting.
Try
So this
some
is the
lighting.
lighting challenge.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
see. Blow me away
Blow me away with your
with
shadows.
your shadows and your shading.
Once
Let's
again,
see how
maybe
it
some
goes.
reference.
Some highlights. Get those.
Yeah.
Get those highlights on the girls or the boys.
What's his like
Or
at
not.
McNerdington or? I
Oh
messed it
yes,
up.
he's way advanced.
So
He's
much
really-
great reference stuff.
He's been working
been
on
working
that
it.
like dark medium paper, so he can take a white pencil and add. That might be something to think about too. Is if you liked how I was doing that, you could like
Get darker.
shade
Yeah.
that paper first and then do highlights and darks after.
So submit
Yes.
to the email. I think that's all the time we have for tonight's episode of Pop
definitely
Draw.
is. I'm sorry, guys.
Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you learned something about drawing, and if you did draw something and want a chance to win that Cintiq 16,
Yeah.
submit your drawings to pubdraw@critroll.com. Do us and Danny a favor, do not submit to the email unless you are in one of the qualifying residencies, but please feel free to share your work with us on Twitter. We
Show us.
love
Love to see
seeing
it.
it with the hashtag PubDraw. We love it. We will announce the winner at the beginning of next week's episode. And yeah, as I said, it is our finale. We will be having the glorious Matt Mercer and we'll be drawing Gilmore. So come feeling fabulous.
I hope he does Gilmore's voice a little bit.
Oh, he can't
heard it
help
so
himself.
long.
Have you met this man? He will not be able to resist. It'll be great. It'll be
I hope we have
fantastic.
Gilmore and Puma just like having a conversation.
Also will probably happen. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys. Bye. Hey guys, I hope you liked the show. Be sure to like and subscribe.
And catch us live on Critical Role's Twitch, Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific.
Bye.